I don't normally dress up to review a car, but today we'll make an exception. Because today, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Range Rover Velar. First launched in 2018, the Velar has undergone a few minor updates for the 2019 model year. Now, in terms of the overall Range Rover lineup, this sits just above the Evoque and just below the Range Rover Sport. Now, one main rival, the Porsche Macan, and the variant we have today is the P250 SE R Dynamic, which retails for just above 596,000 ringgit. The Velar is an exercise in simplicity and substance. Now let's take you through the key visual highlights. Now at the front you have this lovely rounded but sporty looking bumper. Up top you get LED headlights. Now we move further back, 21-inch wheels, and you get this lovely trim elements that accentuate the length of the car. Further back, flush door handles, just keeping with that simple, clean theme. Up top, panoramic roof, and further back you get a very uniquely designed rear spoiler that actually accentuates the air that goes over the car, which makes it even more aerodynamic and it looks awesome. Under the hood of the Range Rover Velar P250 SE is a 2-litre turbocharged Ingenium 4-cylinder engine, which produces 250 PS, hence the name, and 365 Newton meters of torque. Now all that power is sent to an 8-speed automatic gearbox, which then distributes it to all 4 wheels. Now another point to note of the Velar is that 82% of the car's overall body construction is made from aluminium. Now that keeps weight down and it improves fuel economy. Another handy feature of the Range Rover Velar is its hands-free boot release. Now you don't need to unlock the car, just have the key with you, swipe your feet at either end of the rear section, and voila. Inside you have 632 liters of boot space, and if you need more, there's this handy lever over here, just pull on it and it lowers the rear seat backs. To close up, all the same. Now, the highlights. There's not one, not two, 3 screens that relay all important driving data to you. Now, it starts with a 12.3-inch screen up top here, which is dynamic. It's customizable. You can have different parameters depending on what you want. And this is what we call the Touch Pro Duo. So up top, it basically manages all your navigation and your infotainment functions, and below it's more car related functions or driving related functions. Now a really cool feature which I like is these dynamic knobs. Now if for instance it was in climate mode, it adjusts the climate or the temperature, and then when you put it back in vehicle mode, you can actually cycle through the different driving modes of the car. Now, so that gives me a chance. I can either press on the individual drive modes, or I can just cycle through them, and it has a handy little display over here to tell me what mode I'm in. Now, further down we have the iconic Range Rover gear knob, which you actually rotate to cycle through gears. Very cool. And possibly the best part of the interior for me is the 17-speaker over 800 watt Meridian sound system. So what's new for 2019? Well, we now have lane keep assist as standard, and the Touch Pro Duo's graphics have been updated. Elsewhere, you'd want to know that it has Apple CarPlay, but it does not have Android Auto just yet. So it's a very capable system, but I will warn you, it does take some time to get used to. So now that you've seen the inside of the Range Rover Velar, let's take it for a drive. seating position. Yeah, I'm actually very comfortable. The seats are nicely padded. It could use a bit more support on the sides, but by and large, it's a very comfortable place to sit. Now, coming back to the engine. Now, I know some people might be thinking, okay, wait, it's a really big car and it's only got a 2-liter turbo, but let me tell you, it's got ample performance. Now, like what we said, its construction is largely made out of aluminium. So this car weighs around about 1.8 tons, which given its size is actually a pretty light car. So it does get on very quick. I wouldn't say performance will blow your socks off, but it is pretty capable. So as we mentioned earlier, we have 6 drive modes that we can control or select using the touch roadwork touchscreen, or we have the dynamic rotary dial that allows you to cycle through the modes depending on what you need or where you're going. There are 3 on-road drive modes and 3 more for off-road. So pretty much Range Rover's got you covered regardless of the terrain. Now how does it drive? Well, for the most part, it's a very, very comfortable car. I would really call it a cruiser because in the city it soaks up bumps very well. It's very stable. There's very little residual movement if you go over bumps and ruts in the road. On the highway, it tracks extremely well. It's very comfortable. So you get larger undulations on the highway. It still soaks it up. It's very poised. It's very stable. I did manage to get it over a few twisty bits of the road, and truth be told, I wouldn't say it's as athletic as a Porsche Macan, but this car, I suppose, is about chewing down miles of highway, doing very long distances in a single seating, and at that, it's very good. And there's nothing wrong with it being less dynamic, I suppose, than a Porsche Macan, because at what it does, it does it very, very well. So downsides, are there any downsides? Yes. The enclosure just above the dart cluster, it's a bit too plasticky, and in a car of this price range, I would definitely expect better materials, especially for something that is just so close to the driver. The engine, now it's capable, like we said, but if you are driving around in the city, you will hear the noise. It does sound rough at times, like it's just chugging along, and you could appreciate a slightly quieter engine. At speed, there seems to be a little bit of wind noise that comes in from the top of the 8-wheeler. Now, it's not very bad, but because the rest of the cabin is actually very quiet, you do tend to pick up on those things. Otherwise, in conclusion, it's a big, gorgeous SUV. I mean, in my opinion, I think it's the most beautiful SUV on sale today. And that alone is enough. I mean, I would just buy this car for how it looks and how it makes me feel. And yes, when you're in it, you feel rich, you feel good, and that's what a Range Rover is supposed to do. So on all accounts, it feels special. It's a lovely place to be in. It drives really well. It's very comfortable if you're going to do long distances, or even if you're just running around in the city. It does have its drawbacks, but on the whole, I think this is definitely one of the most impressive products to come in a long time. Until next time, drive safe.